Students, today we will be talking about the traits of cancerous cells. We have already finished with the introduction to cancer, and today I'll talk to you about the traits of cancer cells. What are the traits that transform cells display that are different from the normal cells? Okay, so now you have already been told, I have already discussed it with you, that once we were talking about the cell cycle, right, the molecular controls of the cell cycle, you have learned that there are certain specific growth signals that uh, can be in the form of growth factors, hormones, or nutrients, or certain other factors depending upon different species that are must for a cell to grow and divide. But when cells get transformed, they become cancerous. They get independent of growth signals from other cells, and now they are those genes because they have been transformed from proto-oncogenes to oncogenes. They also ignore stop signals. Now you know any cell that has been stimulated to grow and divide, if the stimulus, the hormone, or the signal is absent, in that case, those cells they enter into the G naught state. That is, they are metabolically active, but they do not grow and divide. Right. So, if that stimulus is not there, the cells they do not divide. But transformed cells they ignore these stop signals also. They have defective damage control. Now, sometimes you have seen that during the cell cycle, there can be damage to DNA and other defects that can stall the cell cycle in that particular stage unless the damage is repaired or the cells they enter or move towards programmed cell death if the defect is cannot be repaired. So, I mean, there is damage control. But when cells are transformed, they have defective damage control. So, problems are not corrected. And often, in this case, the tumor suppressor genes are mutated. We have already talked of these two types of genes, that is the oncogenes, which are the mutated version of your normal cellular genes that drive the cell cycle, and the tumor suppressors that basically they stall the cell cycle in case of defective DNA, or you can say any damage to DNA or unreplicated DNA during the course of cell cycle. The very common example of P53 have learned how it regulates the G1 checkpoint. So basically these transformed cells, the cells that have become cancerous, they are independent of the growth signals. That is, they are not dependent upon any factors that are must for a cell to grow and divide. That is why they have defective growth and multiplication, and at the same time the genes, the tumor suppressors that are present in each and every cell that stall the cell cycle under circumstances of DNA damage, they are also not working. So that is why their damage control becomes defective, and the number of mutations they constantly increase with each and every multiplication. Then, of course, in case of normal cells, you've seen that they, in case of damaged DNA, they either repair that damage, or if that repair is not possible, then those cells can be stimulated by both external and internal factors towards apoptosis, that is programmed cell death. But this also is shut or lost in case of cancer cells. They do not respond to the signals of programmed cell death. If this would have been possible, if this occurs, treatments which damage dividing cells may not work. There are no limits to cell divisions in case of cancer cells. You will see this is another very important point, because you're seeing that how the length of telomeres also regulates the number of times a particular cell is allowed to divide. Now, there is no limit to cell divisions in case of cancerous cells, because the telomeres are rebuilt on ends of chromosomes. This is again because of the enzyme telomerase. This also we have learned in the introduction to cancer. So these are certain very you can say important and characteristic features that are displayed by cancer cells. So now in this figure here you can see how tumor suppressors, which can actually uh, they act like brakes, like they can stop the multiplication of a cell if it has any mutations, because you know when proto-oncogenes are mutated to oncogenes, that is a type of genetic mutation, right? If the tumor suppressors are working properly, then the multiplication of those defective cells, that is the growth of tumor cells, can be regulated. But in case most of the cancers, it has been seen that apart from the mutated proto-oncogenes that are converted to oncogenes, right, the tumor suppressor genes are also not working. So here you can see, in case of a normal cell with a normal tumor suppressor gene, there are normal growth inhibiting proteins being produced and the cell division is regulated. But in case of mutated tumor suppressor genes, this protein is defective or non-functioning, so there is no control over the cell division. Then another important property that is displayed by transformed cells is angiogenesis. It is the formation of new blood vessels. Cancer cells secrete growth factors that promote the formation of new blood vessels. It is required to supply oxygen and nutrients to the newly formed tumor cells. Of course, if the cell number is multiplying, then the number of blood vessels, that is blood supply, is required there, because of course those newly formed cells, they need oxygen and nutrients for their survival. So again, these transformed cells, they are capable of synthesizing all the growth factors that promote angiogenesis. Then the main characteristic that is displayed by all transformed cells is metastasis. That is, its ability of a cell to move to other tissues. You know, cancers, of course, if detected early, they start from a specific tissue, but if not controlled or treated, right, these cells, they can lose control of their cell adhesion to their tissue of origin, and they can move to nearby tissues or distant tissues and spread the defect. So this property is called metastasis, and this is characteristic of all transformed cells. Okay, then we have talked of the type of tumors, that is benign and malignant. This is related to metastasis. Benign tumors, they do not move from their site of origin, whereas malignant, you can say cells, they are invasive cells and they can travel in blood and lymph system. So metastasis is basically associated with cancers that lead to the development of malignancies. Then we learn all these traits by culturing these cells in vitro. So when animal cells are cultured in vitro, it has been seen that they have a tendency of anchorage dependence during cell division. So in laboratory cultures, normal cells divide only when they are attached to a surface. This is called anchorage dependence. However, in case of cancer cells, this is seen to be lost. Okay. In laboratory cultures, normal cells divide only when attached to a surface, but this property is lost in case of cancer cells. So in vitro, even if the tissue has an anchorage dependence characteristic, if it has been transformed, it has been become cancerous, it's been noticed that they lose their ability for anchorage dependence. Then the cancer cells also lose their ability for density dependent inhibition. That is, they do not follow density dependent inhibition also. Normal cells in a tissue can proliferate until they reach a finite cell density. Each and every tissue has a finite cell density. After that, those tissues, even if stimulated, their cells they do not divide, and they then become quiescent and enter the G0 phase of the cell cycle. Most of the adult tissues you have seen, you will find most of the cells in the G0 phase of the cell cycle. But if any of the cells from that tissue becomes cancerous, they can divide to infinite cell densities. Okay, this is what you see with the development of cancers in certain tissues or organs. In a normal individual, cell growth and division is not allowed in that particular tissue after a certain age, and the tissue has acquired a finite cell density. But once the cells are transformed due to any of the carcinogens, okay, that you have learned, any of them can be associated with the development of cancer. They again start dividing to infinite cell densities that appears like unorganized mass of cells in the form of tumors. Now, we have talked of metastasis that is associated with development of malignancies in case of most cancer cells, where they are capable of moving to other tissues and invade them. Right. Now, normally in a tissue, cells are joined to each other by cell adhesion proteins. Now, cells that metastasize, that is, those cancer cells, it has been seen that for metastasis, I mean, there is reduced expression of cell adhesion proteins in those cells. So, most cancer cells are less adhesive than the normal cells due to reduced expression of cell adhesion molecules. This leads to malignancy. So this is clearly associated with metastasis and development of malignancy. That is, they show very low levels of cell adhesion molecules, expression of cell adhesion molecules, due to which they are capable of detaching themselves from the tissue of origin and move to the other tissues. So this is the figure here. You can see the anchorage dependence in case of animal cells now when cultured in vitro. And then you can also see, that is in the first figure, that these cells when divide, they anchor to a surface first. Then here you can see that these normal cells, they also show density dependent inhibition in vitro also. If I mean, these cells they grow in monolayers, suppose. Once the complete culture dish is covered, right, the complete fine cell density that can be cultured in this particular culture dish, if this surface is covered, you'll see that these cells they no longer divide. If you scrape some cells from this culture, you'll see that again the cells will be stimulated to divide. So this clearly proves that normal cells, they follow density dependent inhibition, but in case of cancer cells, you'll see that even after attaining this finite cell density, even if naturally they do not grow in multiple layers, if the cell is transformed or cancerous, they do not follow this density dependent inhibition, and they will form an unorganized mass of cells over this layer. Okay, they will not form a definite pattern also, and they will just divide and form unorganized masses in vitro also. Then, of course, in case of normal cells, you have seen that the presence of growth factors, right? It regulates the multiplication and division of cells. But cancer cells are they display reduced requirement for extracellular growth factors. Okay, growth factors are proteins secreted by cells that stimulate other cells to divide. But cancer cells are no longer dependent on growth factors for proliferation. Normally, you'll see that once a cell has formed in vitro a single layer and it stops dividing, it has utilized all the growth factor that was available in the medium. Again, we have to give certain growth factors or additional supply of growth factors in order to see that, or in order if we want these cells to divide further, right? But in case of cancer cells, you'll see that they are no longer dependent on this supply of growth factors because of the transformed behavior, because of the mutations that have led to the development of oncogenes in them. So, here in this diagram, you can see how growth factors stimulate the signal transduction in the target cells that allows them to synthesize all the proteins that are required for cell growth and multiplication. So these growth factors, they actually trigger cell division in their target cells under normal circumstances, but in case of cancer cells, this regulation or this dependence on this stimulus is lost. That is, they just divide even in the absence of growth factors. We have also talked about this in cell to cell signaling, so it is the same case. Then, of course, the cancer cells, they are seen to secrete certain proteases that digest the ECM, that is the extracellular matrix components of adjacent cells, which helps them to invade them. For example, many cancer cells are seen to secrete collagenase, okay, that digests the collagen of the nearby cells which is present in their ECM and is capable of invading the other tissues. Then, of course, defective differentiation. Due to this loss of control over the cell cycle checkpoints and any repair controls or growth factors or stimulus, cancer cells are not able to complete their differentiation properly or their protein synthesis properly during the course of the cell cycle. So that is why these cells, they show defective differentiation. So this is all about the fundamental properties of cancer cells that are lost or that are different from the normal cells, that can be recorded in vitro and allows us to differentiate between the normal cell of that particular tissue and the transformed cell. Thank you so much.